Level 1. The 0 views upload. You're young, maybe 10, maybe 13. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you spent the last 6 hours making a video that, honestly, isn't that great yet. You watched 3 different tutorials on YouTube just to learn how to put clips together. You made a little intro animation that plays at the start. It took 4 whole hours. You press publish, you write a description, you add every tag you can think of because someone online said tags help people find you. You share the link on Instagram. You text it to 2 friends. You post it in a group chat that goes completely silent after. Then you wait. 4 views. 3 of them are you, checking on different devices to see if the thumbnail looks okay. The 4th is your mom, who watched 40 seconds and then texted, "Good job," and nothing else. That night, you watch the whole thing back on the TV, like it's a real movie. You notice every awkward pause, every weird breath. The colors look a little off and you don't know how to fix that yet. But you leave it up. You don't delete it. Deleting it would mean giving up, and you're not ready for that. You open your editing app, you start the next one. That's the whole secret. You just didn't quit on day 1. Nobody who ever made it quit on day 1. Level 2. The family and friends phase. Your first 20 subscribers are people who love you, or people who feel too guilty not to click. You texted the link to everyone in your contacts with something like, "Just posted a video if you want to watch." No pressure. There was pressure. They felt it. Most of them clicked, watched a minute or 2, then moved on. And you can tell, because YouTube shows you exactly when people stopped watching. The graph falls off a cliff around the 2-minute mark, and you stare at that cliff longer than you should. Your friend said, "LOL, this is actually pretty good." And you replayed that in your head, like it was a 5-star review. Your cousin watched the whole thing and said nothing, which somehow hurt the most. The weird thing is the embarrassment. Not huge, crushing embarrassment, just this quiet, uncomfortable feeling that follows you around when people who actually know you find out about the channel. Because strangers watching don't know the real you, but your friend who's known you for years watching you talk to a camera in your bedroom, that feels different. That feels scary in a way you didn't expect. Someone asks what kind of videos you make. You explain it. They nod like they kind of get it, but don't really. You're performing for people who already have an opinion of you. It's the hardest crowd you'll ever face. Strangers on the internet, when they find you, will actually be easier than this. Level 3. The 1,000 subscriber climb. To make money on YouTube, your channel needs to hit 2 numbers, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of total watch time. Until you hit both, YouTube won't pay you a single cent. You know these numbers the way you know your best friend's phone number by heart. They are the only thing that matters right now. You hit 100 subscribers and actually celebrated. Then growth slowed way down, and you've been stuck somewhere between 300 and 500 for 2 months. Being stuck like that has a feeling that's hard to describe. So you start studying. You learn that the picture people see before clicking your video, the thumbnail, decides whether strangers click at all. You learn that the title needs to match what people are already searching for, not just sound cool. You start paying attention to where people stop watching your videos. You post in online groups asking for feedback. Someone says your thumbnails look amateur. Someone says your titles aren't searchable. Someone says you're losing people in the first 30 seconds. They're probably all right, but none of them tell you exactly what to do about it. You notice that every popular video has a thumbnail with a face making the same expression. Mouth a little open, eyebrows up, like something surprised them. You start making that face. It feels a little silly. It works anyway, sort of. You're doing all of this for a channel that has made 0 money. You are working a second job for free with no promise it ever pays off. You check the subscriber count before bed anyway. Level 4, the monetization email. The email arrives on a Tuesday. You've been checking every single morning for 3 weeks, and then the one morning you forget to check, there it is. Congratulations. Your channel has been approved for the YouTube Partner Program. You read it 4 times. You screenshot it. You send it to the one person who will actually understand why this is a big deal. They respond with exactly the right amount of excitement. You try to act normal for the rest of the day. You cannot act normal. What this means, YouTube will now put ads on your videos. Every time someone watches one of those ads, you get a small piece of the money. Not a lot, roughly $1 to $3 for every 1,000 views. So a video with 10,000 views might earn you $20 or $30. Your first month of earnings shows up on the screen, $11.67. You do the math on how much that is per hour of work you've put in. The math is not pretty, but here's the thing you don't say out loud. It doesn't matter. Not yet, because the number isn't really the point. The point is that YouTube looked at what you made and decided it was real enough to be part of their system. You're inside now. The door that was locked for months finally opened, and $11 is a tiny number, but it came from something you built. You open the app and start planning next month's videos. Everything feels a little different now. Level 5, the algorithm lottery. You didn't do anything different. That's the part that gets you. Same effort, same style, maybe a slightly better thumbnail. You uploaded it, went to sleep, and woke up to something you'd never seen before. The video was spreading on its own. YouTube's recommendation system, the thing that decides which videos to show which people, had decided to push your video to strangers, not because you earned it through some special formula, just because something about this video, at this moment, was what the system wanted to show people. New subscribers coming in by the hundreds. Comments from people who found this one video and have no idea your other videos exist. The numbers going up in real time, which numbers don't usually do in a way you can actually watch, and your brain can barely keep up. You're thrilled. And then you make the mistake every creator makes. You immediately make a follow-up video. Same energy, same style. You basically copied the first one frame by frame. You upload it feeling totally confident. It gets a tiny fraction of the views. A month later, it's barely moved. The system that pushed your video to hundreds of thousands of people simply moved on. It doesn't owe you anything. It needed something to show people that week, and your video was there at the right time. The worst part is what this does to you going forward. You stop making videos you actually want to make and start making videos you think the system will pick up again. You're not really creating anymore. You're just fishing, and you don't control the lake. Level 6, the niche trap. You figured out what works. Great. Now do it forever. There was a time when you were trying all kinds of things. Different styles, different topics, different energy. That time is over. The channel found its shape. The audience found the channel. And now there's an unspoken deal between you and your subscribers. You will keep making the thing they came for. You try to break the deal once. You make something different. Something you're actually excited about. Something that feels more like the real you. You upload it feeling proud. The numbers are bad. The comments are confused. So you go back to the regular thing. The numbers recover. Everything is fine. Except now, the channel is like a product, and the product has a description. And you are the one responsible for making it on schedule. The creative freedom you thought YouTube would give you has a ceiling, and you found it. And the ceiling is made of your own audience's expectations. You're not exactly stuck. You can leave whenever you want. But leaving means starting over, losing the subscribers, losing the income, watching everything you built go quiet. Level 7, the comparison spiral. Someone started their channel 8 months after you. They have 600,000 subscribers. You found them by accident. One of their videos showed up in your recommendations, and you clicked it without knowing who they were. And halfway through, you checked their page and saw the start date, and you just sat there with that information for a long time. The videos aren't even better than yours. That's the part that really hurts. You can handle someone being more talented. What you cannot handle is someone doing the same quality of work and reaching 10 times the audience for reasons you cannot figure out. So you spend an hour going through their whole channel, trying to spot the difference. The topics, the way they talk, something about how the videos are put together. You don't find a clear answer, because there usually isn't one. Sometimes channels grow, and sometimes they don't, and the gap between them is partly skill, partly timing, partly luck, and partly a recommendation system that nobody fully understands, not even the people who built it. You know this. Knowing it doesn't help. The comparing slowly poisons everything. You stop watching other people's videos for fun. Every channel becomes a measuring stick. You're not creating anymore. You're competing against people who don't even know you exist. Level 8, the first brand deal. The email is from a company you've never heard of. They make phone cases, or vitamins, or a VPN. They found your channel. They like the kind of people who watch it. They're offering $200 for a 60-second mention inside your next video. You read it 3 times to make sure it's real. Then you look up the company to make sure it's not a scam. It isn't. It's just a small brand with a marketing budget and a list of mid-sized creators, and you're on the list now. You try to negotiate. You ask if they can do $250. They say yes right away, which means you probably should have asked for more. You don't know what you're worth yet. Nobody does at this stage. The mention goes in the video. You write a short script, record it, re-record it, because the first take sounds like someone reading from a piece of paper while nervous. The final version is okay. It's clearly an ad. Your viewers can tell. A few comments bring it up. You feel a strange guilt about it that you can't quite explain. You told everyone it was sponsored, which is the honest thing to do, which is what every creator you watch does. But still, someone paid money to be inside the thing you make. Something changed, and it doesn't change back. The $250 lands in your account. You stare at it. More emails come after that. The first one always opens the door, and the door stays open. The amounts get bigger slowly. The guilt fades slowly. Eventually, reading a short script at the end of a video just feels like a normal part of the job. Level 9, the 100,000 plaque. When a YouTube channel hits 100,000 subscribers, the company mails you something. A silver play button about the size of a picture frame. It's their way of saying you reached a level most people never do. It comes in a cardboard box, wrapped in tissue paper. You open it at your desk. It's lighter than you expected. You hold it and wait for the feeling. The feeling comes, but it's quieter than you imagined. Back when 100,000 was a huge number you wrote in your notes like a wish. You remember exactly where you were when you decided that that number would mean you'd made it. You were a fraction of the way there, watching a creator you admired open theirs on camera, thinking, if I ever get there, that's when I'll know it was worth it. You're here. You made it here. You take a photo and post it, and the congratulations pour in from your audience, from other creators, from people you haven't talked to in years. It feels warm and real and good. The next morning you wake up and the channel still needs a video. The plaque sits on the shelf behind you, in the background of your setup. A small silver reminder that something real happened here. The milestone was never the finish line. You understand that now in a way you couldn't before you reached it. The next number is already forming in the back of your head. It's bigger than this one. It always is. Level 10. The full-time decision. You said it out loud. That's the moment it became real. Not when you quit your other job, not when the money hit a certain amount, but when you sat across from someone who mattered to you and said, I'm going to do this as my actual job. The conversation didn't go perfectly. Maybe someone asked what your backup plan was and you didn't have a clean answer. Maybe everyone was supportive and it was somehow still terrifying because support doesn't pay rent and everyone in the room knew that. The first month with no other income is a weird kind of dizziness. You're watching your bank account instead of waiting for a paycheck now, adding up what came in from ads, from sponsors, from people who support you directly, trying to reach a number that means you're okay this month. Some months it's there, some months it's close. One month it's not quite enough, and you don't tell anyone. Every video carries a different weight now. A video that doesn't do well isn't just disappointing, it's a real problem. A slow month isn't just a rough patch. It's something you quietly manage while pretending everything is fine. The work itself is the same. The feeling underneath it is completely different. You don't regret it. You regret it sometimes at 2 a.m. when nothing is working. Then morning comes and you open the laptop and do the work anyway. That's what full-time means. Not freedom, just the work. Every single day. With nothing underneath to catch you if it stops. Level 11. The burnout video. Every creator who's been doing this long enough eventually makes the same video. It starts with, I need to be honest with you guys. It ends with something about taking time for yourself and being back soon. You've watched 20 people make it. You edited yours carefully so it wouldn't sound like theirs. It sounds like theirs because it's the same video, because it comes from the same place. The burnout didn't show up all at once. It was months of sitting down to record and reaching for the energy and finding the tank a little emptier than the time before. You kept going because stopping felt like failing, because YouTube quietly punishes creators who go quiet. The system stops showing your videos to people when you're not uploading regularly, and because your audience has shown up for you every week and disappearing felt like letting them down. So you faked it. You hit your marks. You made the content. From the outside, the channel looked exactly the same. From the inside, you were running entirely on habit and obligation. The break is hard at first. Stepping away from the schedule you've kept for years feels like missing an important event every single day. But after 2 weeks, something loosens. You remember what it felt like before all of this had stakes. You watch videos just because you feel like it. You have a thought that has nothing to do with content. You come back. You sit in front of the camera and something is still there. Quieter than before, but real. You're more careful with it now. You understand what it costs to use it without paying attention. Level 12. The golden era. The video hits 1 million views while you're already filming the next one. You don't even notice at first. Your editor sends you a message. You check and there it is. A number that would have felt like your entire career a few years ago. Just sitting there like it's no big deal. At this level, it kind of isn't anymore. Millions of subscribers. A real team around you now. Someone who edits your videos. Someone who designs your thumbnails. A manager who handles the business stuff so you don't have to negotiate deals from your bedroom anymore. Partnerships with brands you grew up seeing on TV. By every outside measure, you are someone who made it. You know this. You sit with it sometimes and the gratitude is real. You don't want to cover it over with the complicated stuff, but the complicated stuff is real too. The platform that built you can change how it works tomorrow and cut your reach in half with no explanation. One video, misunderstood or shared the wrong way to the wrong corner of the internet, can undo years of work in 48 hours. You've watched it happen to people with bigger audiences than yours. You are successful and shaky at the same time, and both of those things live in your chest every single day. You love this. You can't imagine leaving. You're not totally sure those are two different feelings. Level 13. The legacy. You don't really think of yourself as a YouTuber anymore. The word feels too small for what this has become. There are kids in your audience who were born after your channel started. Their older brothers and sisters watched you first. For a real portion of a whole generation, you were simply part of the background of growing up, something that was always there, always on, as familiar as a TV channel they've known their whole life. Your name shows up in places that have nothing to do with the internet. News articles, conversations about how media is changing. A documentary that wasn't even about you used you as a reference point. You have become part of the bigger story, which is different from being famous and stranger than either. The operation around you is something you couldn't have pictured when you were making videos alone in your bedroom. People whose entire jobs exist because of what you create. Charity projects, business interests beyond just making videos. You are basically a company now, which means there are spreadsheets and meetings and legal papers between you and the thing you originally did just because you felt like it. Somewhere inside all of it is the person who made that first video. Bad audio. A thumbnail built in a free online tool. 0 views. Someone who was genuinely just excited to make something and put it out there for people to find. You think about them sometimes. You'd tell them something if you could reach back that far. But honestly, you're not sure what. Not that it gets easier. Not exactly that it's worth it. Worth it compared to what? Maybe just keep going. Try to remember why you started. And protect that reason like it's the only thing in all of this that is actually completely yours. Because it is. It always was.